Today is March 10th, 2025, and today we are meeting Piqua'an'e. Piqua came through October 13th, 2020 at 3:11:03 p.m. 3 months have gone by since the last major transmission, which was from Shaw, and we'll go ahead and take a quick look at him here now just to refresh our memory. I'm living 10 miles west of Alpine now in an area called Lakeside. Piqua'an'e is the first being to contact me in the new location. In fact, he came immediately upon my arrival. When the name word concept came through that I was to use in association with him, the symbols, especially Piqua, didn't seem too foreign to our own land. So I, of course, did a search on the concepts and immediately found a hit with the word Piqua, which I found is associated very strongly with the Piqua'an'e. So I'll read directly from their website here. The state of Alabama has long been the home of the Shawnee. In Shawnee, Piqua means ashes or dust. We are known as the people who rose from the ashes, people who have ashes on their feet, and the ash people. We are the descendants of the ancestral Algonquins. We speak an Algonquin language, which we share with 30 other tribes from the Atlantic to the Pacific Oceans. So this is the avenue through which Piqua was able to connect with me. I learned pretty early on in 2009 as my awakening is transpiring and I'm learning the conscious shift into the out-of-body state that I have somehow, some way, a connection with ancestral indigenous peoples. They were the first to contact me, to come down into my room, to quite literally assist me with the shift. And Piqua does himself as well. So he or they used that frequency of connection in order to connect with me. Piqua has not contacted me directly in the out-of-body experience. However, I have had an OBE with symbols that are associated with this being, beginning with the understanding of the Piqua'an'e, who are from the state of Alabama. And this particular out-of-body experience, let me say it's common for me to shift back into physical space with a title to the OBE to kind of carry the major underlying message of it. And this particular experience, I was shifting back in with the title, Alabama After the Coming War. So this being, let's say his name, Piqua'an'e, is very likely associated with that experience, with me having it, with the information that was being attempted to put through to me, to transmit to me in that experience. There are a variety of reasons that I can detect for this happening, which I won't go into here now, but I will link you to that out-of-body experience, which is logged on my website, for any of you who may have an interest in what happened and the information that came through. I will just note here in this segment of this series, the contact series, that this being, Piqua'an'e, is likely associated with that experience and that information coming through to me. Often the beings, or let me say this, often I do not remember the direct contact with the beings in the out-of-body state. That's not part of the information that I shift back with. The conscious mind can only hold so much. And rather than distract me with something like this, it's more important that I make it back with the general message, the information, the data that they were attempting to pass to me. When I look into this transmission, into this being, this general frame, a variety of symbols come at me. The main symbol is that of water. And it's interesting that this being did contact me immediately upon me moving to an area called Lakeside. Piqua is a corporeal, galactic level being who I feel is principally aquatic. However, this being does have the ability to live and reside both in water and on land. That's important because of another major being associated with our world that also has the same capabilities. That being we know as Ea, or some refer to him as Enki. And because or that group of beings, the Anunnaki, are also a strong communication transmitted to me through the crystal, I'll note here that it is at least a possibility that Piqua'an'e himself is associate with this being. Now, something interesting I'll mention here very quickly is that the beings, when they transmit through, and here as I speak, I'm going to show you the original transmission as it came through. So the symbols here in this kind of transmission are much more challenging to read, but I'll place it here in the event that some of you may be able to see what it is that I'm saying. But in the original frame, a very clear wave of information is coming down through the center. Within this is a spectrum of species of beings, all of which are important and all of which basically in circumstances like this are the transmissions. When I feel within myself my connection with these species, I have remembrances of, lifetimes and experiences that happened in those lifetimes that are associate with the current one here and the current times and the events we're now moving through. And so all of this comes to me when I'm taking my gaze into the transmission and pulling through the information through my sensory body. There was a reason I was bringing all of this up. I got lost there in the connection for a moment, and I'm sorry. Maybe we'll make our way back there again, and maybe we won't. Let's go ahead and shift over now and just focus in on Piqua'an'e again himself. So I'm getting data right now. They want me to mention to you that one of the major experiences in the OBEs that I've been given, information, data I've been given, are relative to catastrophe cycles and catastrophic events. Those that have happened both on other planets and other lifetimes and other bodies, but as well as here and on our Earth planet and various of the different cycles. The main experience I have been shown and taken into a variety of experiences on this theme are tsunamis, off the West Coast. These experiences, I am beginning to glean here now as this information is coming through to me live, is likely associated with that information coming to me and the experiences I had in the conscious state, in the out-of-body state. The first experience I experienced live directly in first person. It was happening to me moment by moment. I experienced the entire thing clean through from a car on a bridge in the San Francisco area. I experienced the tsunami. I experienced going under the water. I experienced the people around me, their thoughts and feelings. The entire thing was experienced. But the important thing to note here is that although I experienced it all the way through directly in first person in this first experience, in the subsequent experiences, let's go into the second. I'm in a position in which I'm able to potentially move myself away from that particular event. And in the third, I'm taken up on board craft or given a perspective, an aerial perspective, quite high up in the atmosphere, looking down at the landmass and the area where I'm living. I see it both in its approximation to the event occurring, but also prior and after. I can see how the landmass changed. So why I was given those experiences or given this information, I can't exactly say. Aside from the fact that there's something in there for me to know, something in there that I have in some circumstance experienced in my past, and some spectrum of information in that is critical to where and who I am now and what I can do in our current situation. So often the experiences the beings give me are precognitive in nature, as is the experience Alabama after the coming war. I think many of us detect that something is coming, including potentially war on our own U.S. soil, perhaps not in the traditional sense of war. In fact, in this experience, I almost more get the feeling that it is a catastrophic event that is at the basis of the experience the people I'm viewing in this experience are having. I can, if I choose, take myself back into these bits of data. And these frames that we see here are one of the ways in which I can do this. One of the ways in which the beings can connect and draw my attention to this information, if it's something that is relevant and can that is of importance and that I can do something beneficial with here ground level. Otherwise, it's just let to rest. There really is more data than it's possible for a person in a lifetime to absorb consciously. Most of it I do absorb through my feeling body as something close to pure feeling. However, I can delineate differences, waves of difference, we could say, in this pure feeling that can be moved into something a bit more complex, something that we might call emotion. And within those emotions, again, there are remembrances of having lived through similar circumstances, or even possibly, I'm getting this now, having viewed it from above, the experiences happening to those down below, planet level. So yeah, it's a lot. All of it is so much to take in and absorb. And one day I may go in for cohesive data along a timeline. I don't know. For now, I bring through the beings. I work at what seems important to me, and that is helping to prepare the human central nervous system for contact. These are for the graduates, those graduating the 3D paradigm. The body of peoples that will not be making the grade or the graduations are the ones involved in the cataclysms in which the cycle goes down and repeats. So I tend to put my focus on those making the grade and reaching out to as many as I can to assist in any way possible, the most of us possible, making the grade, making that advancement. So we'll just come back for a moment to Piqua'an'e while I recede and give everyone a moment to connect. Those who wish, those who so choose. And I'll just remain silent for a moment while you take your gaze into this being and receive what you will. Okay. This was Piqua'an'e. We'll be back again soon with the next being.